We have finally safely arrived at the finals. The first map is going to be Tag Craftiest Maximus. Of course, we've got Zlo versus Thomas. And this is going to be an interesting one for Aeon because everybody has hover units, as has been the case for most of this game. And Tag Craftiest Maximus plays weirdly. That's all I can really say about it. You've got 4 mass extractors in your base. Most of your base is destructible by frigates early on in the game. Naval control is important, which is weird for a map of this size. And one that seems to be entirely contained on land. We've got Thomas in the top left, Zlo in the bottom right. We'll talk about build orders in just a second, but just to ramble for a moment about how this map plays out. The last time I played, I won land. I had the entire island to myself, but the opposing player had like 3 Salems. They had a T2 naval factory up here, and they had these 12 mass extractors. And it just goes to show that you have to play the entire map, because if you go land-centric, even if you win, if the enemy ACU gets away, they can maintain enough economy on the outside edges of the map. These are underwater, by the way, so the Auroras can't kill them. There's as much eco on the outside as there is on the inside. So you may have a little issue with power. There's only so much you can fit on these islands, but you can do a hell of a lot of damage even if you get pushed off of the main landmass. Thomas going first land factory up, pushing the hydro after a power generator and 4 mass extractors rolling into second air. And then he's got one of the weirdest conglomerations of power adjacency I've ever seen in my entire life that may lead to a second air factory, we know not. He is pushing out an early combat unit, Flare heading across the map in order to try and snag a potential expansioneer that hits this area. And then we've got scouts heading out to the other sides of the map to see what is coming. Customarily, the ACU will move down here and up here, if I remember correctly. Yes, I believe so, to try and claim the outside expansion. Zlo going for a second air factory after 2 P-gens in the hydro. I think he's going to try to go for some manual reclaim on some trees in order to float the power that he needs to run that air factory. Actually, right now, he's doing pretty well okay. But as soon as this cuts on, we will see how she blows. There's the bomber, 61 per tick, 3122 as it drops. And there's the build on the power. So since he does have full storage, he'll be fine, but that is definitely a minimal power build. He does have an Aurora out on the front, but thanks to a little bit of micro, this Flare is able to pick off the engineer and escape with only a single bullet hit. So it might actually get off a second engineer as well, or kill off a second engineer, I should say. Let's not have Subcom gone sexual in the house. We've got second land factory going up for Zlo. Of course, you do want to get these 2 mass extractors pretty dang quickly, and those are the 2 most well-protected mass extractors on the land mass, so they are the ones that you go to T2 first with, should you find yourself in possession of a large amount of mass. Then we got first bombers out of the factory for both players. Zlo was a little bit slower on his, which is surprising, seeing as his air factory was a little bit quicker than his opponent's, and his ACU is just kind of standing to the side. So as well as he played last time around, this seems like just a really weird... What is this even? He placed an attack... No, that's an assist order on the ground. Okay, so that'll assist the factory without the ACU walking up to it. That actually makes a lot of sense. Why have I not thought of doing that before? As you may well know, if you assist engineers to an air factory, they all try to organize themselves. Oh... That hit though. 2 T1 power generators, a mass extractor, a half built P-gen, and I think an engineer was in the mix there somewhere that died, but I'm not entirely sure. That was a pretty hard hit with that bomber. On the other edge of the map, I don't think anything got killed, and that interceptor killed off the bomber. So early game, I think, is going in a strong way in Thomas's favor. He's at 27 mass per tick with 280 power, almost double that of his opponent. Couple extra mass extractors in the bag. If we take a look at reclaim, Thomas is at 84. Zlo is at 151, but I guess it is a little bit early in the game to be looking at that metric. If we look at the heat map, we've got reclaim here, here, and then symmetrically positioned along with the pretty significant amount of trees that are in your home base, then there is a 75 mass rock on each of the islands. So even if you're only going after reclaim, it's worth an early transport. Well, not super early, because obviously you don't want to cripple yourself in an early game that is dependent on map control with land units. But if you can get a transport out relatively soon and just pick up 3 engineers, drop them out here, build a grab the reclaim, 2 mass extractors, and then a PD and an anti-air on each island to prevent drops to take it away, that can be a huge boon through every portion of the game, because then your land rating matters a little less because you have this eco to fall back on. All right, single naval factory online right over here. Engineer moving up to assist. That is going to be building frigates. And then on the left, we've got a factory as well that is building subs. And this is one of those few instances where you actually want to be building subs, because all of the mass extractors that are underwater, of course, the frigates can't hurt them. And then if the other player is building frigates, you can eventually eat their HP with the subs. It will take you a long time, and you might lose your build power if you don't have enough subs at once, but subs are actually valuable on this map, even at the earliest portions of the game. So you do want to be building them. Zlo bumping up into some opposition here in the center channel. You definitely don't want to be doing that. He is going to back off. And then over on the left, looks like we got 3 tanks scaring off an ACU. Well, that is a scaredy cat if I've ever seen one. Just do not forget to reclaim all of those rocks that are in the area, because that is what floats your early game. Looks like we've got tanks moving in through the center, threatening the loss of 2 mass extractors there, but Zlo does have the units to respawn. His ACU is in the base, still powering away, building a 5th land factory, and then hopefully, nope, he's going for more power, and then another land factory. What on earth are you doing that's using that much power up? I guess speed building factories. It looks like he's almost overflowed mass, and he's struggling to spend it all, which is really weird. Like, I would be T2ing a mass extractor at that point, but he's just gonna build more factories. Obviously, I am not Zlo. Mass extractors claimed. Looks like Thomas is going to be in superior control of the naval mexes, at least right now. And Zlo making a very poor choice in air micro, losing all of his interceptors while shooting down only 1, I think, of the gray inties. Thomas is doing quite well for himself this game, punching pretty dang high in the ranks. Looks like Sub is going to slowly whittle away at the HP on that frigate as he decides to run around once again. Did get a mass extractor kill over that away. Would love to see it around the back. You can actually kill off the Hydro over here as well. Okay. Also, a thing of note, if you have a surplus of Auroras, you can actually just float your Auroras across and kill the naval factories. I know that's not really going to go a long way towards combating naval units, because if you run Auroras into frigates, they're all going to die. But if you eliminate your opponent's ability to make frigates, then you only have to build the frigates that already exist. So we've got 3, 6, 9 land factories with a total of 12 planned to be produced for Thomas, while on the other side we have got 5, 8, and 11, 12. So actually an identical number of land factories planned for Zlo and Thomas. I think Zlo is just going to be much slower getting his factories online. Thomas at 57 mass per tick, but he is approaching the stalling point, though balanced he may be. Zlo still like 3/4 of a mass bar and perfectly balanced. How does he do it even? I don't understand this. Engineer building wall sections around a point defense. You will notice that this takes a lot longer than it used to. I know there's a lot of people who don't actively play FAF who watch these casts, and in a balance patch just a bit ago, it's been a few months now, they doubled the build time of walls so that you can't spam walls up everywhere in order to stop units. Like, walls were deemed to be overpowered, is the short story. So yeah, it does take a little bit longer to get your templates down, although point defense do build at the same speed. That single engineer is surely capable of finishing the job though. ACU moving up to the front. We got another land factory planned there, another finished here, so things are looking pretty good. Thomas at 61 mass per tick, and I am absolutely amazed that Zlo has not gone for a transport yet to start clearing those islands. We do have, transport's going to get shot down with 5 engineers aboard. We do have an attempted drop from Thomas. Transport falls on the engineers, killing one and heavily damaging the others. It's going to be 1 island, so 75 reclaim and 2 mass extractors to his name, and of course he does have air control, so he should be able to kill off those empties, get another transport up, and drop the other islands. But it's kind of hilarious that a single interceptor, against all odds, without air control, was able to prevent the drop of 2 islands. This is the weird thing about Zlo. It seems like he can not have as many units or not have the appropriate units, and then suddenly things just happen. I haven't quite figured it out, and Zlo is one of the only players that I watch replays of that has this happen for him. I can't figure out if his luck dial is set to 11 or if there's something weird about the way that he plays that just doesn't make sense. Okay. Do the corner walls actually matter? Yes. Because the 2 wall sections here, if a tank fires from here, shots will occasionally get through. Alrighty then, more factories being built by Thomas. I think that is a lot of production. Is he even going to have the mass to spend on that? 67 installing for 30. Yeah, so I know that I am a massive T1 spammer myself. I have turned into a spammer in recent days and it's worked quite well for me. But even I realize there comes a point when you need to stop building factories, okay? And I think that, thank goodness those engineers got pulled. I think that this is probably the point. When you're 30 massed in the hole and you're still building factories, you might have a problem. All right, gun upgrade going down. That's going to be speed. So the damage booster is on the way. Does he already have range? He does not. I would always recommend, if you're going for both gun upgrades, go for range first. Because the range upgrade will let your ACU reach out and kill artillery that is trying to knock you out of your upgrade. And look at this again. The 1 interceptor. There's all these inties over here. There's literally 1 interceptor on the entire map. That one just came out of the factory. 1 interceptor on the entire map with like 20 interceptors in 2 places, and he manages to kill the transport. What the hell is this even? I know a lot of it is the other person not paying attention, but how does this continually happen for you, Zlo? I want to know your secret. Okay, Zlo wading into the fight, even though he does not have the gun upgrade on his commander, and he's taking a lot of damage. But he has successfully eliminated the vast majority of the troops on the other side. He is happily damage soaking with his ACU in favor of eliminating all opposition on this portion of the map. And he is now going to be free to move up and secure some territory over on this edge, though we do see a counter strike. Thomas moving in on the mass extractors and production on this edge as he tries to chase down Zlo's massive forces. Now the problem here is that Zlo does not have naval control as far as I can tell. No, he actually does have 2 T1 subs here and a frigate up there. Nope, there, yeah, I was right. Okay, so there's 4 T1 subs up, but 3 of them are on the other side of the map. So it would actually be quite dangerous for Zlo to get in the water at this point. So if he can't win on land, he's not going to have a good spot to stick his commander. So I think that this degree of brazen front play with the ACU is a bad idea, especially when you're unupgraded and your opponent is definitely upgraded. All right, damage being thrown down on the ACU, struggling to keep the HP low as the gun comm moves back up. There's the overcharge in gun range. Zlo is hopeless now. 1800 HP. The tanks have surrounded him, and the gun comm is there. He's going in deeper. Probably trying for the mutual KO, but I don't think he's even going to make that. 500 HP, 400, 300, 100, and boom! There she goes. Well played, Thomas. Very well played indeed. I was not expecting that. We actually had someone that I don't believe, if I've seen him in a tournament before, it's only been once or twice. So we have a relative newcomer taking the tournament. That is freaking fantastic. So what that means is Thomas gets the King of Aeon avatar. He takes the prize pool, and that is all she wrote for this tournament. Well played indeed to every single person who participated. I know that it was a little bit frustrating for some of the lower rated players who got pushed into this tournament because the Prince version got canceled, but I would say take hope, and any people in the 1,000 to 1,700 rated space, because the King tournament is supposed to be 1,700 plus, I would strongly encourage you to come and play the tournament next time around. It is a fun experience, and even if you don't end up winning, it is good experience because it will make you better at the game. You get a pile of replays of other people's that you can watch to learn from. You get a few replays from yourself that you can learn from, and if you are able to rise up, then you will also be taking home some prizes. So, as you can see, 1800 beats out the 2K rank. For the first time in a while, we got a sub 2K winner on top of the stack. Alrighty guys, that is going to wrap it up for this tournament. Thank you very much for tuning in through this entire thing. I actually had a blast. This was a good round. That is going to wrap everything up for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, feel free to drop a like and share it with someone. If you want to support the channel, catch the streams, or join the Discord, check out the links in the description. Thank you all for being at least partially insane, and I will see you in the next one.